A lot of things are being discussed in the media, and I've got some folks here that'll discuss some of the things we've got going on in the media, including things happening here on Pod TV. I know that Nick has been traveling, so he's got some things that he went to visit in Turkey, including where Mary might have been, Mary, the mother of Jesus, and all along those lines. So he'll be doing a special on that and all in that space. And of course, we've got the Epstein special on Tuesday, tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, and that's going to be several days that'll be running as well. And of course, a lot of people are paying attention to a number of other media and all in that space. So there we go. There's who was waiting for Nick, didn't know where he was, but now I've got Nick here, and we're gonna see what's going on in his world and everything like that, because he's over there in Spain. So I got you started since I was like, wait a minute, where's Nick? But we do have Kim here with us, and we've got Sasha, and we've got Chitovi, and everything like that. I was a couple of issues I was going to get to in the media, including our shows, because I know that you've got your special where you went to Turkey, and that's going to be Aaron, and then Kim's got the whole special around the Epstein files redacted that'll start on tomorrow and everything along those lines. But outside of that, there were some other media stories that were going on. I don't know if you've been following the media story about the governors, because apparently a lot of the Democratic governors were disinvited to the governors summit and everything like that. So usually the governors are doing this whole thing where they are governors from both parties are there, and I think this is the first time in forever that they had disinvited some, including Wes Moore, the guy that you like, and everything like that. And there were other ones that they disinvited as well. So they usually are a bipartisan effort to with the governors, both Republican and Democrats. But now the Trump is doing some of his madness, and he's disinviting some folks as well. So we can talk about that in media news. And the other thing is I bring in Toby because I know he's got some thoughts around this, because we are talking about the Super Bowl and all along those lines. But the other things that everybody talks about in the Super Bowl is the commercials. And I did see some commercials that featured some music, including some funk music. I saw some good commercials that featured different political statements, including one that was a Stop Jewish Hate commercial and all along those lines. And I did see the one with the eagle and the bird and everything like that. So I mean, the eagle and the flag, and all in that space. So there was some great commercials there. Interesting ones, including some that they were selling water and other things like that. So there were some interesting commercials that were out there and all along those lines. And we got both of the founders here with us. So I'll see what commercials y'all were watching. But those were two that I saw. We've also got Sasha start with the chess show, the investment show, and also, of course, Ukraine and Russia and China show as well. So you've got three of the more popular shows here on the network and all along those lines. So did you follow the Super Bowl commercials? I know you watched the halftime, but did you watch the commercials, and did you have a favorite commercial, Kim? Because actually, Sophie ranked him on his social media, and he has.
I saw
Yeah, I need to
Jacoby's
go.
ranking.
I need to go check that out because I did not watch all of them. But my favorite, I think, was the one that, and I don't even remember what it was for, other than "I am a champion" with the little kid, and you're giving him self belief that he is a champion to grow up and become something more than what other people probably felt he could. But I loved that for whatever reason, it resonated with me, and I just felt like I did not need to see any other commercials after that. It was just usually I sit and watch the commercials most of the time, but I wanted the Seahawks to win. And so when I saw that they got ahead and early on in the game, I just kind of lost interest. But yeah, I am champion. That just resonated.
Yeah, I think that might have been for the NFL, if I remember correctly, and all along those lines. There was a couple of good commercials. Like I said, there was one about
Yeah.
stopping Jewish hate that was set in the classroom and everything like that. So there were some interesting and good commercials in that space. There was even some commercials that dug up old actors. Because I think there was one for Dunkin' Donuts that brought up Ted Danson and Urkel from
Oh,
and a number of other actors that were out there that have been not in the limelight. So there were some ones that brought in some past actors from the past. So
Ted,
Jacoby,
Ted Danson's got a few new shows right now that are actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it does.
I've watched them, and they're good quality. I was shocked, but I did watch some of his latest developments, and they're pretty good. So
I'll tell you the reason I'm late is I on my other computer I had to flip to so I'm using two computers now. I had to generate clips, and the reason why, Kim, when I did that Ephesius thing, I press clips. I put a clip within like a couple hours, literally, I had 1,500 people watch the clip.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
going like, whoa, you don't get those type of metrics. And so I wanted to do it on the immigration show because what they do is use artificial intelligence to determine the topic. And then you flip it out on the clip. So Mark, we should be using it for all of our shows.
No,
So
I
here are
use
the
it quite
four,
often.
they choose the topics. Here's the 4 topics they chose. Undocumented workers already pay billions in taxes. That's one of the things they're going to do a clip on. Number 2, pathway to citizenship. Fear is driving talent away. Clip number 3, fixing payday loans and timeshare scams. That's clip. You'll like that one, Kim. And then 4th one, a 4-point immigration plan, not reform. And then I'll flip it out on the clips and we'll see.
Thank you for doing that, Nick. Yeah.
Well, the problem is it ties, my computer's still processing it.
Yeah.
So I have to use another computer
to
to do this show, which is the reason I was late, is because I thought, oh, this is going to be done. No, it could take 30 minutes. So Mark could have a hard time doing it because he's running show after show. You have to have downtime with your computer to let it generate a clip.
Yeah,
but they do get a lot more.
And just to let Sasha know, I do generate those clips, but it's usually when I'm at another job and have some free time on the particular computer to have access to do it, because I've generated some clips even on the chess show. And
if you want thousands of viewers, you got to generate clips.
Those clips, AI is built to establish the best clip for you. So I've been very impressed. I've used AI to edit some of my work, and it's gotten down to like if I'm moving content one folder to another, but I wanted to label the other folder, something else. It catches on, and so I don't have to retype the titles or anything. I just move data, and it automatically changes all the titles for me and all the information. I was kind of scared of it a little bit at first. I'm like, did it really do it? And yeah, it does. So AI has made media work, but the clip thing is good. Thank you for doing that, Nick.
Yeah, those are great things and everything.
Yeah, but we should do it for all of our shows.
We will.
We will tell our producers to do it, because like this is on YouTube, 1,500 viewers on YouTube. I mean, YouTube, we get slaughtered. We get the worst.
But don't the producers have to have access to the StreamYard? So if they don't, we need to do it for them. So, but generally, like you said, it does use up your computer space. So if you have,
it's still working on it. I mean, it's still tying up computer 1, so I'm on computer 2.
I stitch Irene's show now, and some days it takes an hour. Like I'll just put it up and let it run and add the 2 shows to 2 things together, because she does a 30-minute show and then a 30-minute library, and I'll stitch them at the end of every show. Some days it takes an hour. Some days it takes 3 hours. Last week it took almost all day. So I have no idea what causes it, because it's the same bandwidth, it's the same size, but it could be how much the internet's being used at the time.
It could be the internet speed. Hey, Sasha, just really quickly, because I do remember, and Nick mentioned it earlier, when you had a couple of those chess champions. I think there was a couple that was from Europe that was on, and I love Dave Regan and Dan and all along those lines. But I was wondering if you've got any plans to bring any more chess masters to the network to bring their perception of their own games and everything like that, because you did that last year a couple of times, and I didn't know if you had any plans to do that this time around.
I don't think that they're readily available to provide their games and analyze them. They are very they're guarding their time and expertise and so on. And of course, if you're prepared to pay them some money, it's possible, I'm pretty sure. Now, in the absence of that, it's very rare that somebody would provide, maybe occasionally once in a blue moon, but to be like every week on a program, or even just two programs at a time, say a week and the following week. I don't know, I'm quite skeptical. It's probably possible if you're persistent enough and you know them rather well. And it's very possible maybe you will explain that it will tremendously help your program and so on. Yeah, it's possible that you can get somebody for one or two shows.
Hopefully we can do that. Nick and Kim, you'll be glad to know I've got to reach out to Harlan, but I think that we might have the boyfriend of Nicole Simpson on coming up very shortly because he's out there on the circuit. And I did reach out to Harlan and he said that he was going to provide him, I think in March or maybe it's even later on this month, but he was the person that was dating Nicole after OJ and everything like that. And he's written a book about that experience. And also many folks will remember the great actress Morgan Fairchild. I think she was on Falcon's Crest, if I remember correctly and everything, but he's making her available too because she's got a book because she's based in Texas and it's about I think it might even be a play or a movie that she's doing, but it's basically the word that has to do with dogs of Texas and everything like that. So he's definitely put that out there, and she'll be coming to the network to have some conversation, hopefully in the not too distant future. I've got to reach out to the PR agent, Arlen Bowles, to confirm those dates, but those are two people that I'm working on and everything. Hey, Toby, I had mentioned on Facebook that you had ranked some of those commercials. I love the rankings, and I love when you talk about that. So what do you got on mine in the commercials, and which ones did you really like? Because I'd really love to hear your thoughts around the Super Bowl commercials.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I do my yearly ranking. I started this like 15 years ago now. I think I've been doing it.
Okay.
Because I like doing I like the commercials and like looking at, seeing the creativity, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely rank them. Like my top for this year are different from, I just looked up what supposedly like your CBS's and everybody else had their top rankings of the Super Bowl commercials. For example, on what is it, CBS, I don't know why everybody liked the bird and the horse one. I thought that was one of the
eagle. So the eagle,
yeah, the eagle and the horse.
It was just creative. I liked the one part where it flies, right? And it looks like it looks like the horse has wings just for a brief second.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of bored with that one. I wanted more because for me, like the commercial just has. I'd look at it, in my opinion, that it could be taken to a different way, and I'm trying to look at the creative where they could have taken it, and I'm like, hey, this is where it should have gone. It could have gone. Like I like for the Budweiser commercials. Out of all the Budweiser commercials, I like the one that they rolled the beer keg down the hill.
Yeah,
because that was a throwback. That was actually a call to the area where Nick is, honestly, because I think that's where they do the cheese roll. So the annual cheese roll, that's all that was a callback to. And it was funny to me because it was the hit at the end, and Peyton Manning's whole, what he says at the end was what everybody feels about, what a lot of people feel about the cheese roll that really aren't into the cheese roll is like, what the heck is this for? Why are you even doing this? And it was just so funny that had, and so I like that commercial better than the Eagle commercial because I thought the Eagle, yeah, it was cute and all, but it wasn't. And the same thing with the polar bears. Yeah, sure, that's a take on Pepsi now taking over for Coke, and the polar bears now coming over to that way. Yeah, it's kind of boring to me. I mean, there were other ones like the Instacart. I love the Instacart with Ben Stiller. That made me laugh because it was just dumb. And the same thing with the Dunkin' Donuts. I thought the Dunkin' Donuts with all the other characters coming out, all the old school characters, and the Tom Brady piece at the end. I thought that was classic. That was a good one. I like the there was a Redfin one with the being a good neighbor. There was I thought that was a good one. I thought the Lay's one with the potato and passing the potato. That was a story that they told. And that was what the story I hope that I thought that they could have told with the horse and the eagle, but they didn't. But they did it with Lay's. They really gave a passing of the torch and, hey, this is what it really means. And that's why I like the Lay's one a lot better than the emotional side of it.
You just hit on a new idea. You don't realize it. but you just nailed a new idea for next year. And that is, like you were saying, telling a story, and it kind of could have rolled with Budweiser. Why not two great products like chips and Budweiser get together and do a commercial that kind of molds one to the other? Because, hey, I want my Lay's chips and my Budweiser beer when I'm watching the Super Bowl, right? So why not
hopefully Uber Eats takes that.
Right. But why not merge some of the commercials next year? That's a great idea, Jacoby.
So
I don't think you realize you just probably created the next big cool idea commercial. So,
and honestly, Uber Eats should do that. That's what Uber Eats could do. And then some of these bigger conglomerates that have multiple products to merge them that way. But yeah, Uber Eats, I wish would have done more. I get the joke that they're doing with Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, cool. But it's boring now. They've done it for a couple of years and they haven't expanded on it. The TurboTax one, the setup was okay, but then they didn't follow through with it. I was hoping they would have done something with the dog, because they set it up, well, you're going to get a dog. And hey, you know what? Your dog is going to die. And so it was just an interesting setup that they could have played into a cartoon. They could have played into anything that, there was this emotional, but they didn't. They went with, I'm bringing the drama.
What do you think of the Meh commercial? Because everybody talks about the doldrums that we sometimes get in and everything like that, and they were actually playing on that and everything like that. So what do you think, Toby, of the Meh commercial?
I thought it was exactly what it was, Meh. It was okay. It wasn't anything standout.
Right.
No.
Like the T-Mobile one. I enjoyed the T-Mobile one with the Backstreet Boys. That was funny. And then the tag at the end again when they brought in MGK, and he was supposed to be this next big thing, and the kid didn't want to see MGK. The kid was upset that she missed out on Backstreet Boys. And the funny part about the funny piece was that MGK is more her age and more that person that she should look at. The Backstreet Boys is her mom's age. And it was the fact that the little girl wanted to see Backstreet Boys and not MGK. That was funny to me.
It's funny because and I'm going to have to watch that again, but I experienced a similar situation with my little niece when she came to live with me for a while. And I went to take her to a movie I thought was more for her, but she wanted to see the movie of her crush celebrity, which was Hugh Jackman. Like, she thought Hugh Jackman, here she is, a little bitty girl. And I'm thinking, Miley Cyrus, right? Let's go see. No, I don't want to go see ugly Miley. And I'm like, but she's your age group. You should, and I'm trying to push that. And she sat like this the whole time. And I go, okay, fine. If you enjoy Miley, just act like you enjoy it. I'll take you to go see Hugh, but you're going to have to cover your eyes because he's naked in one scene. So, but you're right. Kids, you kind of got to listen to what they want to see, right?
You have to see what they want to see. What do you think of the movie trailers? Because there were several movie trailers, including one about the aliens come back down here on Earth, and there were a couple of other movie trailer commercials. So what did you think of the movie trailers?
Are you talking about the Disclosure Day?
Disclosure, right.
Yeah, there were only a couple of movie trailers that I saw, like Disclosure Day. There was the one, the Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Right.
Hail Mary. Hail Mary just doesn't look great to me. It looks like kind of a boring movie that they're setting up for. They're trying to do a lot of explanation around it, but I mean, I guess I'm upset about it because they're not really. It's like a backwards Interstellar in a sense. That's what it looks like. Where Interstellar is about going light years away and finding these planets and so on and so forth, and trying to bring that back to Earth and finding that you go back in time and all this other. Interstellar was cool. It had a neat little story around it. This looks like, hey, I'm just gonna go.
It's tough to do aliens because it's like zombies. We've seen too much of it. It's hard to come up with a new angle that'll be interesting.
What do you
Well,
think of Disclosure Day?
Disclosure Day looks interesting though. Something about Disclosure Day looks really interesting, and it looks like it is going to be what Signs should have been. Signs had a decent setup, but then it just failed every little piece after that, where it went to the whole conspiracy. We're going to wear tinfoil hats, and the kids are always going to know what to do, and it was just dumb. This looks actually interesting. It looks like it has a good story.
And I look who's in it. Emily Blunt. I like
Yeah.
anything with Emily Blunt.
Yeah, Emily is wonderful.
Yeah, Emily's a good actress.
I think, you know, it's hard to get people's attention with a good ad nowadays because you have to work with so many seconds. You have to get the whole storyline and grab somebody's attention with that. They should use Nick's clip tool, actually. Here, watch the movie and make me a clip.
in terms of the ads, it's not that. It's just you can't overthink it. Like some of them tried to overthink, and that's why I was like, these ads are just. That's why I didn't like the eagle and the horse. That was another reason why it just felt overthought. The polar bear, hey, we're gonna play into this. It's overthought. The Dunkin' Donuts, which is also a minute, that was classic because hey, we're just gonna hit you with some random celebs the C-list celebrities that you used to hate. It was like,
hey,
you don't know what these people are. Guess what? You remember you used to love them.
I think they're paying about $1 million a minute, maybe more. But how many people do you think watched the Super Bowl? What's the count?
135 million.
Well, no, it's supposedly more. Well, actually, no, it was 130 for the Super Bowl, 140 some for the halftime.
130? Yeah, because I heard that more people watched the halftime than they watched the game, which I thought was interesting. In fact, they called it, hey, did you watch the Bad Bunny concert with the football game?
Yeah, so the big heads at TPUSA probably actually increased the halftime ratings because they threw such a hissy fit about Bad Bunny.
Right.
Yeah, they were being politically incorrect, if you ask me.
They were being totally politically incorrect and totally being, assholes. I'll just put it that way and everything. So they were definitely doing that. Rick, what is your
toilet paper? TP, toilet paper.
Did you have any favorite commercials? That's what we're talking about. Toby has
No, I didn't. I went to it's a good time to go out during the Super Bowl because everybody's in. So I go to the gym. It's nice and empty at the gym. So I saw the halftime show. I saw some of the football. I saw very few of the ads.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went into the gym after the halftime as well, but I turned on the TV and watched what I could. But it's hard to hear when I'm working out unless I have headsets that can.
Yeah, I got to say though that visual effects no longer win the ad for you. That because there's so much AI slop that nobody's impressed by anything visual anymore.
I disagree with that. But what happened this year, which was interesting, this year we had more AI ads and more crypto ads than we had.
Yeah, there were definitely crypto ads because Coinbase was there. There was also more candy because I saw the gummies ad and I'm still trying to figure out that gummies one. And also Bono.
That was a Nerds ad.
And Bono was probably a Nerds ad too.
The Svenska vodka ad with the robots, that was panned as maybe one of the creepiest, crappiest ads.
Wow. Okay.
So the Coinbase actually had the worst ad, which was just a bunch of words on the screen.
Yep, that's all that was. And,
but you remember it for being the worst, and sometimes they play on that. You know,
well, I remember it because
somebody will tell me that they tell you in psychology that you'll remember the worst of something before you will.
Oh, yeah. For me, though, I usually try to remember them all because trying to rate them all, I'm like, hey, I remember this ad. I remember what this is.
You've got a different purpose, right? Yeah. But for the most part, most people are going to remember the extreme worst and the extreme best. They're not going to remember those in the middle, but it's going to be the worst that just sticks in your brain and aggravates you. And that's sometimes that is what they do
Yeah.
on purpose. They do that on purpose. So
This is for you, Kim, but also to Toby. What did you think? Because they did try to play on some music. Because I know I've got some friends in the funk music space that would love to see a funk Super Bowl. So I think Levi's tried to play on the love of funk music and R&B. So what did you think of the Levi's answer?
You mean the one? Which one? You talking about the one where you had Doechii at the end?
Doechii at the end, right?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. Again, it wasn't a standout ad. I knew it was basically they were shaking everybody's butt in front of the camera. That's all it
yeah,
was.
that's it. I mean, it didn't impress me. So
And I needed more. They could have taken it a different way. That's why I was like, it's an okay ad. It's not the greatest. Sure, you got Doechii at the end. Woo! But I need more.
They definitely with some other ads that use celebrities. Like I'm still trying to figure out Boshi and Guy Fieri.
Bosch with Bosch
Bosch.
with what's his name? Guy Fieri.
Right.
I didn't like that ad either. I thought it was just okay. Because that one they used the joke, and the joke didn't hit the first time for me. And so they kept using the same joke. So it became it's kind of boring.
I hate to say this. I used to be a big fan of Guys. Like I couldn't wait to watch his next episode. Like I was one of those fans that just loved him and would binge watch. And then I ate at one of his restaurants, and it was horrible. A horrible experience. The food made me sick. It was just didn't taste good. I was so disappointed. I never wanted to watch anything with him again. And I hate that because I think as a personality, he has good, personality, but that whole experience at his restaurant just destroyed my vision of him. So I don't know.
Yeah, first experiences will do that. Hey, Toby, what do you think? Because we just got out of Santa Claus season and everything like that. But typically, if you drive down, particularly if you got the young kids, because I remember doing it when I was a kid, you're looking at license plates. You are looking at the figures in clouds. And there was the young girl that said that she saw Santa Claus eating a sandwich.
Yeah, that was a boring ad. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, she saw the Santa Claus one. Yeah, I didn't like that one.
Even know which one you're talking about.
It had a start, but it never paid off.
The payoff was supposed to be Santa Claus eating the sandwich, but I agree the payoff didn't really hit because
and it was because it was the ad, Kim, where dad and daughter were sitting there driving. Dad looks up and points out a cloud, then asks the daughter. The daughter says, "I see Santa Claus eating the sandwich," or whatever. And then the dad was like, "Oh, that's extremely specific." And then turns on the radio. Then they go down and find Santa eating a sandwich. It was, man. It was. I needed more.
What were they selling? I
forgot what they were selling.
You can't even relate it to what they're trying to sell you. So
I can't remember. Was it a soda or something like that? I can't remember. Because the other thing they were selling was that I did see a few like Liquid 4, which I didn't know what that was, and everything.
The Liquid Death.
Some of the energy drinks.
Liquid Death.
Liquid Death actually had a good commercial.
Yeah, they made
that one was the one where the heads were exploding. That was funny.
It's Liquid Death, the founder, man, he made billions, God knows, off of water. I was watching someone else the other day, I forget who it was, that sold his water company that he started when he was younger, but he's a celebrity, a huge celebrity. But he made $4.1 billion off of the sale of his water. Just, had a water company. But he came back from wherever he was at. He's a celebrity. And he said, "Hey, I want to sell water." And they go, "Are you crazy?" He goes, "No, they're making millions of dollars off of just selling bottled water. So they bottled it. And he made $4.1 billion when he sold it.
Yeah,
So Dunkin' Donuts did Goodwill Hunting, and along with that, they're having a contest because in the movie Goodwill Hunting solves this mathematical proof, and Dunkin' has offered, if you can do this mathematical proof, you could win free coffee for a year.
I did.
Their coffee's good.
I can do the proof, but my fucking neighborhood is so fancy. We don't have a Dunkin' within like 5 miles of us. We drove all the, like, I used to like Egg McMuffins. There's no way I have to drive 3 miles if I want an Egg McMuffin. We have no Red Lobster. We have no Olive Garden. And it's like some of these great crappy restaurants I can't even go to, so I probably won't submit the proof because it would suck.
I'll submit it and just give it away. Give the card to someone else.
Do you have
Submit
yeah, you can do that.
It's because Rick, the first person I was thinking of was you to do the proof. So do it. Just to do it. Do it to get the identity. Do it not for. But the coffee would be cool because they do have good coffee. But what happened is your neighborhood and community became a boutique community.
Yeah.
So you support the independent self-proprietors,
which is good. But like we kicked out McDonald's, replaced it with Mendocino Farms.
Oh wow!
Which,
do y'all have
I'd be happy.
Do you have
they have good stuff, but Egg McMuffins are good too.
Yeah, I like Egg McMuffins.
I like Egg McMuffins. Do you have a Biscuitville, or is that only a Southern thing?
That's a Southern thing.
Y'all don't have
That is like Bojangles. That is from
Bojangles.
I don't know how far we'd have to go to get a Waffle House. Let's see the closest.
The Waffle House.
The Waffle House is definitely over here, and that's the late
They're
night.
hard to find now for me.
There's at least 3 or 4 Waffle Houses in Durham that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I know. I've driven past them when I went.
I'm not sure we even have a Waffle House in the entire state of California.
Yeah, and they got rid of a lot of.
I want to come back to you. Tell me just for a second. What did you think? You said you.
I like the In-N-Outs though. In-N-Out burgers.
Yeah, In-N-Out burgers is good as cookout. But you said you didn't like TurboTax, but it sounds like they were playing off of, and maybe it was just bad writing, but it sounded like they were playing off of Adrian Brody's bad guy image and everything like that.
I mean, that's what they were playing off of. I already understood that part. It was just they set it up with a good in the pregame, right after the national anthem, I think it was. Their first commercial was, "Hey, look, the whole Adrian Brody setup was there, and hey, we're doing this scene." And the scene, we need that emotion. We need a dog, and the dog die or whatever. But then you never pay it off.
Right.
Your next scene is, hey, I'm Adrian Brody. We're gonna do this emotion, and the worst part about it is I knock a lamp into a window and it breaks the window. Oh, I'll pay for that.
Now the other thing
it was just boring. I needed him to pay off. And it's not, it could have been set up so beautiful. You could have brought in a dog, this cute, adorable dog, and then him stressing that this dog is going to die and everybody going back against him. And then the commercial. I mean, there's just so many other ideas. They could have taken it, but they didn't pay it off. It was like, hey, we're just going to drop this.
Yeah, there was no
and
payoff.
Hey, we're doing something different.
There was a lot of draft commercials and everything like that. Just really quickly, we talked about it on the show before and everything like that, but I'm going to admit that I did something that I usually don't do. Don't get mad at me, Sasha, because I know you want me to do real investments and all along those lines. But I did buy into the betting market. I didn't know it was going to be a defensive game, so I only lost $10, and there's probably $10 I didn't need to lose, and everything along those lines. It might have been a little bit more, but it wasn't a lot more, and everything like that. But I did do DraftKings, and I think I did one for Bet365, which is why I think it was probably about 20 and everything like that. But what did you think of their commercials? Because they did lure me into at least doing that, the Super Bowl bet and everything like that. So what did you think of the DraftKings commercial to tell me? And then, like I said, I know Sasha all the time saying that's just throw away money and everything like that. But you tell me, what do you think of the sports betting commercials? Because there were several of those. You're on mute.
I didn't like any of them. I mean, they were all kind of, again, they were all boring. Yeah. They were all a standard commercial that you would put on your regular TV or your regular show. It wasn't anything impressive about the sports betting commercials at all. I didn't think any of them were good.
You see, the purpose of this commercial is not to lure a new bettors or gamblers or so on. It's a kind of ecosystem that exists for people who are already predisposed to gambling. Mm-hmm. Let's see, for example, you are making bets on sports. Well, it doesn't matter, soccer, tennis, it doesn't matter, but you're already there. So you're already registered, you already have account, you already have some money there. So all they need is to press a little button which says casino, for example, or something else, and start betting on just playing casino games or bet on some. But you see, Mark, it's very, very important. You have to understand the difference between investing and gambling.
Oh
There are
no, I knew that was not an investment, even when I did it and everything. And I've done the lottery, but I think the last time I did the lottery was, oh shucks, I think the last time I bought a lottery ticket was probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. And but it's something I might do on occasion if I'm at one of those stores and if I feel that I've got some extra cash. So I know that that is not a true investment. And the chances of winning are dim to none, but sometimes it's just fun to do. It's kind of like what I do with my younger brother and his crew of fantasy football people. We put money on fantasy football and everything, and somebody wins the money at the end of the year. I mean, I think that the winner was determined, and it was actually, I think it was two newbies, if I remember correctly, and everything like that. But they win, and I invest what I think I put in. Sometimes either my money or my brother might help me if funds are lower or whatever, but we put in a little bit of money, and in some cases we won a little bit, but mostly it's just a fun activity to do. It's kind of like what's going to come up in April when people will be betting on the Final Four, even though my Marquette Golden Eagles won't be there unless they pull a miracle in the Big East tournament or sweep the next few games to get a winning record. But right now they'll be lucky if they get into the NIT or the Crown, which is that other series and everything like that. But yeah, it's just something fun to do, but it's not a true investment, and I know that, Sasha.
Mark, when you started to describe what you were doing, you said you invested, and then you corrected yourself very quickly, and then you were starting to talk more about fun or so on. You know, fun was, say, 35 years ago. There was a lot of fun playing Pac-Man.
Yeah, and I
It's
used to
not
play Pac-Man.
investing. You couldn't make any money in Pac-Man, but it was fun. It was genuine fun, family fun, if you wish, or so on. So there is nothing wrong with putting a few dollars here and there and have your fun, or so on. It's nothing to do with investing, and you have to be very clear about it. So you say you put some money on Super Bowl, you put some money on playing Pac-Man, or you put some money on some sport bet elsewhere. It's fun. Okay, enjoy yourself if you can afford it, and that's it. There is nothing more. It's not investing. There is no strategy. There is nothing behind.
I've known a professional gambler, and it can be investing, but you need to do as much work as you need to know more than the people setting the odds about what's going on, which means 60 hours of work a week if you're trying to bet on like college football.
And to your point, Rick, and to your point, Sasha, there is strategy even in fantasy football, because that's actually what they teach me about. Because I think the last 2 or 3 years, I just kind of like one year, which was last year, I think I let the computer randomly pick the players for me. This year I was doing some of my other jobs and everything like that, so I picked some very bad players. I did make it a decent push because I did some recruiting and some trades that helped him make at least a decent thing. So we have like a losers bowl, and I think I came in like second or third place in that. So I did make a run towards the end and all along those lines. But there is a strategy in some of those things in knowing, to what Rick is saying, the statistics around the players and everything. So even in some of the betting, like I said, I think even in some of the sports betting, it was bets on how many players would score, how many yards Drake May was going to have and everything like that. And if you knew that it was going to be a defensive game, you probably wouldn't have betted on 250 plus, which is actually what I did and everything, because you knew it was going to be less than that and everything like that. So it is a strategy in the sense that you need to know about the game in that sense. So that I do agree that the better ones in those sports, unlike Pac-Man, you don't really need to know that much about Pac-Man, but there are some
there are weird prop bets where you might be able to get an advantage with a little research, because the prop bets are researched less by the bookies, but your action is limited. On weird prop bets, some online bookies won't let you bet more than $50 because they know that those are goofy bets and they don't want to lose their asses.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'm sure there'll be some political bets. Like I just said, Westmore, I think either disinvited himself or just recently got disinvited or everything like that. I can't remember if he did it himself or if Trump did it, whatever, the Republicans and all along those lines. But I'm sure that there will be, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but on some of those betting platforms, I'm sure there'll be bets on which will be the next Democratic governor that'll drop out and everything like that. So there'll probably be some
Yeah,
bets.
I'm opening up my online bookie right now to see what kind of stuff is out there.
Yeah.
Like bookies are happy to take your money on really stupid bets.
Right.
Like which Canadian province will become the 51st state under Trump? Well, none of them, but they will take your money if you want to make the bet.
And there were probably bets. I mean, I hate to say it, but there were probably bets on whether Lindsey Vaughn was going to fall. And if anybody took that bet, they probably won some money and everything like that. But I'm sure there were bets on that because she was running on a
if there had been that, I would have. I didn't think to look that up, but she was skiing on a really rickety knee.
Right. She already had several.
She was skiing on a ruptured ACL.
Yeah, exactly. So that would have been an easy bet because it was a ruptured ACL that she was skiing on and everything like that. So just making that first turn, I knew she was heading for trouble and everything like that. Just like there'll be bets on whether they, I forget the guy, but he's out of Virginia, but he's known as the Quad God, whether he'll make his next quad jumps and everything like that. I'm sure there'll be bets on those as well.
I remember Bet365 offered bets on one chess tournament where Carlsen was playing.
Mhm.
The odds on Carlsen winning was 1.66.
Well,
Carlsen at that time was winning 9 out of 10, all kinds of chess tournaments. So guess what? Of course, I bet $300. It was the easiest win of all time. And they never offered bets again on chess. That was the only time when they offered bets.
that was the only time they offered bets on chess at all?
No, there are no bets on chess, no.
What is your bookie saying, Rick, in terms of what you finding out on crazy bets and everything like that?
So my book, I use Bet Online, and they're pretty conservative. They don't really go totally crazy with the bets. Like they got a bunch of Olympic bets, but they're all straightforward. Who's gonna get the gold medal in various events?
They're just going straight to the bet. Whoever's going to get the going ons and everything. I know we've talked about it before. There's some award show coming up because I think we just did was it the Oscars we just did or the Grammys we just did?
The Grammys.
The Grammys. So the Oscars are getting ready to come up, right?
Yeah.
Any predictions on who's going to be winning these Oscars?
Everybody. Well, it's between Sinners. Sinners seems to. Everybody was thinking one battle after another, but now Sinners got more Oscar nominations than any previous movie in history. So now Sinners is the favorite.
So Sinners is the favorite and everything like that. And when are the Tonys? They should be coming up soon too, because I think that's in the springtime as well, if I remember correctly. Or is that in the winter?
All right, let's look at Oscars. So what can you bet on? You can bet on makeup, actor, you got all the major categories. And let's see, and directing, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle is the favorite. No, yeah, he is. He's like, it looks like a lock on there. Best Picture, they still have One Battle being the strong favorite, with Sinners being far behind in second most likely. Do they have any crazy crap?
Are they looking at any wild cards? Because there's always a wild card in any of these award shows.
There's nothing crazy in the Oscar categories on the online bookie that I look at.
Okay, cool. So there's nothing crazy that they're looking at in that space and everything like that. So that's good. And
But you can bet on stuff that's like very unpredictable. You can bet on the next James Bond.
The next James Bond?
Yeah,
Like,
nobody-
who will be?
People, I don't know. Callum Turner is the favorite. Aaron Taylor Johnson. A lot of people I haven't heard of. Anyway. But yeah, you can anyway. Betting.
Who are those people? I've never heard of those names.
I don't know. I mean, the first one I know is Jacob Elordi, who is the tall, good-looking guy who's in the new Wuthering Heights. He was the bad guy on Euphoria. He's in a lot of stuff. Oh, he's the monster in Frankenstein.
He was a monster in Frankenstein?
Yeah. He was the hot monster. I like this Frankenstein. The monster was pretty hot in a tight diaper.
It looks like it's going to return this year. So it's actually coming back after being gone for a while. The Tony Awards, and it's in June. So they're saying it's Broadway's most beloved tradition, and it's returning in June. So they've been out for a while and everything like that. So they did have it in 2025 at Radio City Music Hall. So I'm not sure what. Yeah, so they're just saying it's coming back that time.
Okay, here's if you want goofy bets, you can bet on the spelling bee. You can bet on the number of letters in the winning word. You can bet on whether the winner will wear braces or not, glasses or not.
Can you bet on the obvious, like whether and I'm not saying this to say anything about race or anything along those lines, but historically the winner has usually been from India or an Asian country. So can you bet on?
You can't, because they do not do categories where it's a lock. And so, that it's an Indian kid is probably going to be a lock.
And you said they don't do locks.
No, they don't want to do a bet where you bet $30 to win $1. And so if it's almost
they don't want to do those kind of bets at all.
Not so much.
Not so much and everything. Speaking of things that are certain, do we have your show this weekend? Because I was planning my stuff for the week.
No, our Cassidy, our model, isn't available, so we got to figure out a different night. We might be looking at Wednesday or Thursday night. Are you available those nights?
This Wednesday or Thursday? Because I do my show. Or the following.
This Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm always happy to postpone. But
I can make myself available this Wednesday or Thursday, or we can do the following Wednesday or Thursday.
All right, so I'll put out an email and we'll see. I'm always happy to not do the show because I am lazy.
You're lazy, but you got people like Lance Richland that wants to yell about his MAGA stuff and everything like that, because that's why y'all show is funny. I told you, I've described the show as a cross between Point Counterpoint meets Saturday Night Live or Laughing. So that's
except that it's not really our show is not that funny. No, you've got two old Jews yelling at each other.
But did you bring in a now movie star? Because your producer is a movie star that was in that movie.
He had like 2 lines in a movie. Our producer, director, cinematographer. Yeah, he's very talented, but it's tough to get stuff made in out here.
Now, those 2 lines, were they in the beginning of the film or were they at the end of the film? Because I always feel sorry, like in the horror films, for the people that are going to get killed early in the film, because you already know
it's toward the beginning of the film.
So he's similar to like the guys that get killed in Shark.
No. He's not one of the red shirts in Star Trek.
Explain the red shirts again.
The lower, like Star Trek, the major characters are the high-ranking staff on the bridge of the spaceship that has thousands of crew members that you never see. But when they beam down to a planet, it's usually 3 of the familiar stars. 2-3 of them, and then some person in a red shirt that you've never seen before. That person's going to get killed.
It's like a given. He's going to get killed if he's got a red shirt.
Yeah, and that's early Star Trek. Later iterations of Star Trek, they start making fun. They make fun of it. Star Trek makes fun of itself.
Definitely makes fun of itself. Now, the other big news is going on, Jacoby, in terms of entertainment and sports and everything is I did see today advertised is two things. One, I saw that we're going to have a cheerleading league that's going to be on one of the networks. I mentioned that on one of the other shows. And then I think there's supposed to be a flag football league. So I guess that's either started or getting ready to restart. And then, of course, we've got the NBA All-Star game and everything like that. So are you going to be watching any of these new sports that have got there? Because I was caught off guard that they're going to do a whole like cheerleading league on one of them.
I will watch cheerleading. Because the people they have nice bodies, but B, the frickin' physical training they go through is so insane. Like Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, a certain percentage of them every year have to get hip replacement because the physical the squat drops, the spread drops that they do destroys your hip sockets. It's crazy what they put them through, and they have to be nice, wholesome people on top of everything else, and they have to hold another job. So they do. There's a rolling doc, a series where they follow the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders every year. That shit is fascinating and brutal.
Yeah, that was brutal and everything like that. So apparently we got some people that are owning all of media. So that's an article that I just saw and everything like that, because they were talking about that news is increasingly, and I think you talked about this on your show, Rick, synonymous with online news. Over half the U.S. public, 56%, say they often get news through their digital device, compared to less than 1 in 3 who get the news from TV, 1 in 9 who get it from radio, and only 1 in 14 from print publications like newspapers or magazines. So they were talking about this billionaire family, the Sulzberger family, that owns the New York Times, but apparently they also own a lot of media dynasty and everything like that. And
that's fine. The Sulzberger family's fine. What's not fine is Bezos firing 1/3 of the reporters on the Washington Post.
Yes.
There were 2 great papers in the U.S., New York Times, Washington Post. And, if you're conservative, maybe the Wall Street Journal. But the Washington Post is now wrecked. It's gone now. He destroyed it. The Washington Post used to stand for truth and integrity and tough reporting. They brought down Nixon. They uncovered Watergate. No more. It's done.
Yeah, apparently there are a couple of these billionaires that own it. We all know Murdoch family owns Fox, and the family that I just mentioned that owns the New York Times, and they own a lot of the digital stuff. The Warner Brothers owns Discovery Channel, and apparently they own CNN and everything like that. And then there's also the Apollo Global Management, which got $2.7 billion, that owns Yahoo. So Yahoo and they're very much involved in Yahoo News and all along those lines. And there's Brian Roberts that owns Comcast. So there's and Microsoft.
So the deal is the general structure of media now is that there are no guardrails to stop you from believing crazy bullshit. I keep saying that in the 70s, when I grew up, my dad was my parents were Republicans. My dad was a small businessman, and everybody in our little town, most people were not crazy because everybody had friends and neighbors and family who, if you started saying crazy crap, your people to your neighbors, to your friends, they would call you on craziness. My dad played poker every week, and if he'd sat at the poker table and started, saying crazy shit, everybody he was playing poker with would have made fun of him and would have set him straight. Now there are fewer things in people's lives to set people straight. If you want to be an anti-vaxxer, you can fill your media feeds with fellow anti-vaxxers who will pump you full of bullshit all day.
They'll pump you full of bullshit.
Now Republican players their own poker game and Democrats playing their own poker game. They don't play together. That's all.
Yeah, they don't play together at all, and that's even what this article is saying, because they said that the owner of People is the other person other than Sulzberger who will be critical of Trump and everything, because he has the IAC, which is a 1.9 billion views company, because that's what the numbers were. They weren't money, they were views and everything. But they've got between people and Daily Beast, they got 1.9 billion views over 12 months. But they also said that Barry Diller is one of the few people who are critical of Trump and everything like that. So whether it's because Microsoft isn't going to be critical of him with their 2.1 billion, and neither is Comcast with their 2.4 billion, because some of these are Trump friends and all along those lines, including Apollo with their in Yahoo with their 2.7 billion people and everything like that. Right. We're going to get on out of here. Go ahead, Rick.
CBS got taken over by Barry Weiss, who's in the tank for Trump. Mm-hmm. She famously in the past couple months has cut stories on 60 Minutes that are critical of the administration.
I mean, one of the biggest pro-administration folks is Robert Murdoch and his Fox folks, and that they've got just under 5.5 billion views and everything like that. So
Murdoch is starting the New York Post is the big tabloid paper in New York. He's starting the California Post, which will be a right-leaning tabloid rag for Californians, which will, if you want to fill your head with print media bullshit out here. And that's in addition to the LA Times being castrated. The LA Times used to be a great paper. Now it's owned by a right-wing billionaire, and it has only 30 pages a day, and it's shitty. It had its nuts cut off.
Yeah, totally. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. I think they're doing the timeshare show. Everything like that. We'll be back with more news on tomorrow and everything like that. So, you gentlemen, it's been fun. But right now, let's get on out of here and the media show. And I'll catch you tomorrow with Ukraine, Russia, and China. There's always developments happening there. And I know that Ivan will have a great film coming from Kyiv, as he always does. So I'll catch you on tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.